So many guys out there. We don't know what they was anymore. The drama continues as always. We just had a president, but you want it to be true, you make it true. So you get clicks, but when you go personal, what's really going on? Like, what's going on, y'all? This Greg. Greg said it. Back with another one. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Greg said it live. About 27 minutes live. I didn't even get a chance to put the whole, schedule it and all that good stuff. People just gonna come on in. They come in. Shout out to you all who are catching this show on replay. But this is what we do on Sundays live. I do one other show live that started over a year ago, B Watts. Before that, I wasn't really doing. I think I had Sunday live I did have Sunday live for the games, but no other live during the week. Then people say I should do more lives. Just making it happen. My time is getting even more and more busier, honestly. And early this year, and every now and then I come across and say, can I keep doing this? Do I have time to do this? Do I want to keep doing it? But this is the time of the year. This is the time of the year when it all counts. We looking at the first game coming up with Shador, and let me see something. Should I have a glow behind me? Yeah. We got preseason coming up. What's going on? Got R Jizzle popping in. He was ready on go. Ready on go. Yes, sir. Everybody come on in the room. Yeah. So this is when it really starts to really, some people shut it down and always keep it going during the off season. And, there's always something going on in the off season. Colorado, it's been plenty this year. It's always is. But just with Shador and with the guys in the NFL, it's been plenty. Colorado, it's been all right. No big story. Because like somebody I've been saying, but I heard somebody else say, the only reason you don't really, I think it was Big Matt, Machezi, I believe. I think he said it. He added last year. I said it's a lot of reason you don't know a lot of these guys because they ain't played yet. They ain't went 5-0 yet. They haven't been able to really maximize the light that Coach Prime give them, the prime effect. They haven't benefited from it yet because they just getting there. Nobody know who they are. He barely know who they are. Bucky barely know who they are. So we know the people don't. But as they go out there and make a name for themselves, they can cash their own right and cash their own checks. Because this season right here, people gonna watch because they want to know what can Coach Prime do without his sons. Is Coach Prime, now he's been sick and all that different things. They want to see how he's going to recover. So it's creating storyline after storyline. What's going on. So at the end of the day, this season they can make it whatever they want it to be because everybody is going to be seeing how is this transition going to go for Coach Prime's first time being a coach without his sons. It's a good storyline. So, y'all, I titled this video. I'm not even video, I'm live. Titled this live. And it's really centered around a twofold thought. Because Coach Prime knew it best. Like I say, if anything he knows, he knows the NFL. He know football. He play baseball too. So he couldn't know that. But he know the NFL very well. He was in the NFL. And then you look to the point where he was an analyst and all of that after his career was over. He knows the NFL. He got a PH double triple D in the NFL. One thing about him, you say, yeah, people want to run it, but one thing they ain't been able to do is tell him how to do things since even he was a player. So they can just kind of let that go. He gonna do things his way. And he older and stubborn, he definitely gonna do things his way. But I'm gonna start, let's take it back to the beginning. What did Coach Prime know best about the situation? Coach Prime Believe it or not. I don't quite remember if he said it in specifics, but he definitely hinted around it back around late fall when they started talking about draft talk with Shador. Coach Prime made the comment when they talk about the comparison to Archie Manning with I think it was with Eli and teams he would want him to go to. And Coach Prime said, I don't want Shador to go to certain teams. If I'm not mistaken, either he said it specifically, which I think he did, or mentioned it at one of those points. He said it more than once, or he insinuated. And one of those teams, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, was Cleveland. I really think all the teams that was shooting bad, that Shador eventually said, I'll go there, and he changed his mind about, I think all of those teams end up being the teams that was going to draft him. And he changed his tone fairly quickly. I think the Jets was one of them too. The Giants ain't really been hitting on them, but Cleveland fits it perfectly. Quarterback ruined university without being a university. They are the teams, Cleveland in particular, they go through quarterbacks like dirty underwear. They get caught. They say they had like 30 quarterbacks, 30-something quarterbacks in less than 2 decades, and less than a little over a decade. They went through 4 quarterbacks last year alone. They have that reputation where you ain't nobody really been successful as quarterback there. For real, for real. So it was one of those teams he's like, I don't want my son. He threw in Weather and all that, was Cleveland to get the Weather too. They one of the few teams in that region that has an outdoor stadium. You ain't saying Detroit. Detroit got a dome. You know, Minneapolis, Minnesota got a dome. You know, Indianapolis Colts got a dome. Everybody in that region pretty much got a dome. So the only people who got bad weather is affected is really Cleveland. Name somebody else. I'll wait. Cleveland is the team he was talking about. They are the prototypical team. Prototypical team. And it was like you knew it was Cleveland, because Cleveland, if you really narrow it down, what's going on? You really narrow it down, they had to been the team you're talking about, because they was the only one who really was projected to get that number 1, number 2 spot. At some point, Cleveland was expected because they've been garbage. And then it kind of switched up with the Titans. The Titans kind of jumped in there. And then eventually Jacksonville. So, the conversation started switching. Where it was like, well, we don't know who it's going to be. They're going to go either 1, 2. They're going to go in the top 4, whatever. But it depends on who go. And that's when they start playing with the boys, because they didn't know if the Titans was going to be first. They didn't know if Jacksonville was going to be first, Cleveland, or they didn't know if it was New York. And they started playing with that. Yeah. Well, we know they wasn't talking about the Bears, because the Bears wasn't necessarily one of the people talking about they was looking for a quarterback. They probably should have. I mean, Bears, who they draft as a quarterback? They got he's still there. He's there last year. So we knew that the quarterback wasn't going to be something they was really taking seriously, because they got their franchise quarterback. So we knew they weren't talking about the Bears. They gave him a nice deal. The Jets were not recruiting Shador. Well, at that point, he wasn't with the Jets. When we talking about when he was still with the Steelers. This conversation happened way before the Jets. We talking about all the way back in last fall. He was still with the Steelers. So the Jets didn't have Fields at that point. The Jets was not they were just a losing team. And they was gonna need a quarterback, and then they got Fields. I think they got Fields, and who else they had? And we start seeing movement and conversations like, the Giants were gonna go get 2 veteran quarterbacks, like they went and got Russell Wilson. At one point they were talking about getting my boy Winston. It was clear as time went on, things were shifting as far as who was on that list, because they started making other moves. I don't know. I mean, I don't know Cleveland. Well, I can't put that on them. If you look at the offense, Cleveland doesn't really have an offensive weapon outside of Judy. They was trying to get some back. I don't know why they let go of Chubb. I mean, this decisions they make, it seemed like they are a glutton for pain. They really just want to lose, it seemed like. Because they had Chubb. Chubb didn't necessarily want to go. They got rid of Chubb to go get some rookies and got one of them go get arrested. I think they was really dependent on him. And then they got Sampson. I think it's that Sampson. And so you have a couple left, but they not the big bruiser bat that they want in that nice, cold, hard outdoor weather. And so you would think, well, boy, they probably should have kept Chubb. So they had a running weapon. They don't know how to build around crap. They had a running weapon. They had receivers. Now they got rid of the running weapon to go and not have it now. You know, say hold them down all day. Oh, they want the fans always say they can hold them down all ready to start to push do it in practice. How you think the game's gonna go? Yeah, we're gonna get to some other things. Yeah, cold weather in that mid region. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Cold weather in that mid region. And we just narrowed it down to who he was talking about. Because yeah, Bears was one, but they had their quarterback. Everybody else in that area got a dome. Go figure, right? So who you really talking about that the weather gonna affect, that destroy their quarterbacks, that's losers? That's who you was talking about, right? He had a bad year, but he's still a franchise. They not looking to replace him. They ain't looking like how they talking about Shador. Oh, we just waiting next year. I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't pay him. You know, that was decisions they made. You know, with Watson. Yeah. Cleveland is where quarterbacks go to. No, they Cleveland is like how the Atlanta Falcons used to be. They go there to start their career and have a bad start and go win a Super Bowl somewhere else. Because Baker Mayfield don't went and took off over there in Tampa Bay. It's like you had the wrong environment, the wrong mindset, the wrong system, the wrong decision making. They don't build around you the right way, and you can't compete. Look at who they playing, y'all. We'll probably get into that later. They gotta play the Ravens twice. The Steelers are typically a tough team. I don't know what they're gonna do, Roger. I don't know. But you typically got to deal with the Ravens twice, the Steelers twice, the Bengals. The Bengals have stepped up over the last several years. So you got some of the top teams that you got to play twice. And then you got to play a hot Lions team. I don't know what they do this year, but they've been hot. You got to play all these other teams, Buffalo. You know they're going to come with it. They got quarterbacks. You got to play all of them. That's the kind of schedule they have. And what you can't do, which we get into what you do, you can't go playing them kind of teams and can't score points. And that's what they've been losing. Because I heard something. They said that the Browns, they said their defense was holding teams under 21 points a game. So it's not that the defense, I think, okay, well, your defense weak, you getting blown out. They not get blown out, they just couldn't score. And you know it had to be they couldn't score because they kept changing quarterbacks like they had changed underwear. Because that was the issue. The defense wasn't the issue. And that's a pretty good sign for them that you playing them kind of teams. And they said they almost beat the Eagles. But they can't score. So you would think your emphasis would be, I got to be able to score. I got to be able to get a quarterback that can score. Silly thing. I got to get a quarterback that can score at the end of the day. That would be the emphasis. Not somebody who can just hand the ball off and do what you've been doing. You've been doing this thing where you couldn't score. You've been doing this thing where your defense do all that hard work and you barely put up. Your defense holding on to 20, but you can't score 20. What good is holding a team on the 20 if you can't score 20? That's a waste of a good defense. That's what we liked about Shedeur even at Jackson State, and even up to kind of like last year. If the defense helped them down a certain point, you pretty much go, see, he gonna score. Now you may have a game or two where they just raggedy and they can't score, and they got this number in the line just falling apart. But you average out. This man ain't throwing for almost 40 touchdowns a season, almost 4,000 yards a season, and the mid 70% complete consistently from his whole career, from freshman all the way through. He's not doing that by mistake. So you can go and be silly. People show up and act like you can point out one game that he didn't do it. Well, if that was the factor, if that was the sample of what it normally would be, then how does he put up these same numbers every year? You want to find the one game or two that he don't do it, but then tell me how he consistently put up the same numbers if he's not really doing it every game, except the one or two games you try to point out being silly. He's been able to throw a significant amount of yards and touchdowns every single year at a very high level as far as completion is concerned. So it's no question of it really shouldn't be no question of can he do it at this level because he don't done it everywhere, in every situation, every circumstance, with multiple coordinators, with line issues, with this, with that. He's done it with a team with a lot of turnover. Oh, all they do is live out the portal. He's done it with different players. He's got three, I think they probably say one of the most in this draft. Three receivers got drafted. His receivers got drafted this year. And all three of them look like they're going to play, possibly even start. Then you got a fourth one that's on the NFL roster up in Green Bay. He had another one the year before that who's playing down there in Arizona right now. So he's done it with multiple receivers. They all get their numbers enough to go get a chance in the NFL. So he ain't throwing it to one person like you want to say. He got a Heisman person. He gets the ball, like he said right here. He spreads the ball around. Everybody get their numbers everywhere he goes. Even the tight end going to eat if you got one. Yeah, that was silly. And maybe, like they said, maybe it was a money thing. I'll give him that. Maybe it was a money thing. Maybe it was, we can't pay him and we just did a dumb deal with Watson. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But they could have, like they said, they could have had both. They made poor decisions with their investments. Clearly. So, say he got 2 on Cleveland about to make the team. Yeah. When you talk about the type of exposure that these guys are getting, because you talking about undrafted guys. You go put them down there with the scrubs. He can make the scrubs look so good. They wondering, is he they just doing that because they're down with the scrubs? Is he just doing it because they're down there with the scrubs? Because they're looking better than the guys we got up here on the main field. Now they don't mess around and let these trackers come out showing the stats from this camp to that camp, that camp. And now that the road meets the road. When you say, you know what? This guy throwing 70 plus every count. This other guy, he all over the place. Numbers don't lie. Especially when you can't manipulate them. They're raw numbers. He's consistently throwing not only a better completion rate, but he's consistently throwing more touchdowns. Go figure, from the guy who got an award as a Golden Arm, who has records at Colorado, who's known in his numbers that he throws more touchdowns than everybody that you're looking at. He not only does he throw 73, 74% consistently, but I told you, he's throwing in the upper 30s to the lower 40s touchdowns per year. You don't do that thinking having a good game every now and then. That's an average of 3 to 4 touchdowns a game. A game. Didn't I just say that the poor little Cleveland? The defense holding them to 21 points, and you can't score 21 points. That's why they lose. You got a guy who's going to score 3 to 4 touchdowns a game on average, which means it gives your defense a chance to be effective and give you a chance to win. If they're holding teams on average 21 points and you're scoring 21, at least you give your team a chance to win. If you score more than 21, now you're winning more games than you're losing. Go figure this guy was able to do that in Colorado. Because at the very least, he didn't have to put a whole lot of pressure on his defense because he was going to outscore the amount that his defense was going to give up. And then you notice Colorado defense got better. They pass worse. Because guess what? Everybody had to start passing the ball to keep up with Colorado. So you can't run the ball when he just went down the field, scored back-to-back touchdown. Now you trying to throw the ball. Now the defense goes cutting up. Halfway through the season, you start seeing Colorado, they leading in sacks against a conference that's known for running the ball. These teams didn't have no quarterback. They all act like they was from Cleveland. Utah went through multiple quarterbacks. Oklahoma State went through multiple. Everybody was getting Kansas getting hurt. Everybody was getting hurt. They all played 2-3 quarterbacks. Colorado, little 10-man quarterback, whatever he made Teflon. This guy played the whole season, even with the raggedy line. He didn't miss a game. And he only missed the game, the last game of the junior year. Because his back was too busy getting knocked out. So now you're looking at the fact, another factor, you got a quarterback who is able to take hits. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Flacco finna take them hits. You're not finna tell me Dylan Gabriel finna take it. His little bit of self. When has he shown he taking hits? He's sitting up there in this little prissy shotgun system, 5-star track stars all around him, handing the ball off, throwing. He didn't have to be that guy in Oregon. Nobody ever targeted on him. He didn't have to. He got all that speed all around him. All that 5-star talent on the front line. He didn't have to run for his life and win. Not a game. He didn't have to Brady mode anything. Yet you want to compare him to the guy who does that for a living? Who Brady mode in college ain't nobody want to see those games back to back where we got to see these shotgun games, especially as a fan. But that's what drew the audience in. Oh, the mindset is if Shedeur is in the game, he can come back. He can come back. You ain't got no points on here, run you down. He pretty much did to Kansas State. The referee had to step in. They did some weird stuff at the end. Colorado made some bonehead decisions, but he ran Kansas State down. 3 touchdowns. I was at the game. He's capable of not only scoring a lot of points, but he's capable of running somebody down. Who you got on the roster can do that? Who do you have? Dylan Gabriel ain't running nobody down. You get the balls batted down. Flacco ain't doing that. He ain't built like that at this point. And Pickett, I mean, when has he ever known to do something like that? He would have been on somebody's starting roster by now if that was his type of thing. Them trackers, they don't kill them. It's done. The numbers, man, you seeing consistently this man on his worst day, he's still throwing in the low 70s. He's still throwing in the low 70s. I mean, his legs gone, man. His knees, everything got to be gone. They put that speed rush on him. He gonna be looking like he run on stilts. Too short. Gabriel too short. Clearly, because he used to playing that close to the line. Put that guy in a system where he can operate. He cannot take the ball and throw at the line. Clearly, you need to put him in shotgun and let him be on a roll out and help him be on the go. This is not the system for him. This is not the system for him. This is the reality of what Shedeur. Coach Prime did a wonderful thing. I don't know what it's going to look like going forward because he's going to be back in the spotlight. He disappeared was the best thing Hampton should do because all they want to do is leverage everything he say, everything he don't say against Shedeur. Like they already on live and said that he was, the reason Shedeur, he was saying stuff or they fear him trying to come in and fail. They leveraged that against Shador. Shador ain't do nothing to these people. Then they start making up lies about Shador character and personality. Nobody ain't never said that about Shador. Nobody. But we knew they was liars when they said he was bullying players in the locker room. And he was, this and that. At the end of the day, Coach Prime sacrificed keeping everything secret from Shador so he can focus in that ragged environment. Because that probably would have been a straw to break his back. Mentally, he doing everything he can to hold on till he got the chance this week, which we'll get to. Going 9 from 9 one day, 9-11. You notice that his number's still low. Even with your boy out. They go give all the stuff to Gabriel and they let him like a fool get in the rope, man, hang himself. He go throw it on that 30%. They still don't properly distribute the reps to Shador yet. He's throwing 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns consistently. You say, oh, they in the red zone, but why they ain't throwing it? Why when he didn't practice, there was no touchdowns? Why does he consistently throw touchdowns, regardless of what you say about who he going against, oh, it's on the red zone, and why they ain't throwing touchdowns in the red zone? Pickett is the only one anywhere near him in touchdowns. But Shador is number 1 in touchdowns. He's number 1 in pass percentage. He's number 1 in less interceptions. And a foolish person would say that's luck when it only equals what he's done his whole career. He didn't win the awards he's won. He didn't do what he did in college and then get here and it'd be luck. His numbers are identical. He's never been a big-time interception thrower. He's always been a high percentage guy. He's always been a high touchdown guy. He's always been a high yardage guy. Jackson State to here, just for the people who just showing up, who just now learned about this. So why do we act surprised? Now, clearly some people they clearly don't know. 35 QBs in 10 years. That's what Coach Prime was talking about. If he can't say it, I will. That's what he was talking about. They're kind of place where they don't value quarterbacks and they dog quarterbacks out. That's the kind of place when you have a son as a quarterback and you know the NFL. You're not some kind of scrub that's watching them. You know the NFL, you know the reputation, you know the history. You say, I don't want him to go there. And you wonder why. Why are we in August talking about this? How did we get here? They've shown us nothing but foolishness from the time they drafted him, really. They sent out all of them sitting around acting like, like anybody else supposed to put on enthusiasm, high five, laugh, everybody's. You tired. How you tired? It's the end of the draft. They've been alone. So you picking people and no enthusiasm. No wonder your program had no enthusiasm. No wonder. No way you about to tell your professional football team, the QB who throwing 30% is about to be. Well, it's like they treat people like they stupid for one, because these guys like Shador. They liked the Shador before he got there. They like Shador. They know he's on their level. He is a pro. They haven't called him a pro. He's been groomed to be a pro. Pros like pros. He know the culture. He know how to respect them. If they try to talk over somebody else and interview him, he say, "No, y'all going back over there and talk to them." He knows how to respect another pro. He know how to buy his team gifts, take his lineman out for dinner. He know how to do all of that. He know how to be a pro. Shiloh know how to be a pro. These boys have been groomed to be a pro. The pros know pros. So he has the posture of a pro when he got there. Not because he got money. He was groomed by the best NFL player, one of all time. They know exactly what to do. They know exactly how to move. They know exactly how to interact. So they like him. He ain't a typical rookie. And he got money. So it's not like he just getting money. He don't know. He already know the culture of money. Millions. He don't make more money than a lot of his teammates who in the pros. So they like him. Then he performing, and then y'all act like these people don't want eyeballs on their games. Y'all act like these people who at the Cleveland Browns who about to be extinct, players ready to get traded, nobody checking for them, and they can't do nothing about that. And then you finally go get the guy who gonna make everybody watch you. That means you gonna get seen. You gonna get more branding opportunities. You can get more contract opportunities because people paying attention to you. And you finally got the guy, and y'all finna dog him out and bench him for the scrub. You think I'm a player, I'm a teammate, and I'm gonna watch that happen, and I ain't gonna have nothing to say or show about it. And especially if you go to losing, and people gonna be like, he tearing us up at practice. What kind of stupid crap is this? Y'all ain't finna mess up my career. That's what they gonna say. Y'all ain't finna play over my career because this on my resume. This losing. I want to have a chance to go to the playoff. I want to have a chance to make a Pro Bowl. Who gonna make a Pro Bowl on a 3-14 team? Y'all are messing up me and my money. You know they get bonuses every time they go to playoff and do certain things in incentives. How you gonna get if you don't ever get there? They leaving money on the table because they sorry. And we got a guy I feel like gonna get me the ball. We got a guy that I feel like gonna help us win. We got a guy at least gonna get us some exposure, make it fun again around here instead of feel like we're in slavery or something. And y'all gonna bench him and we losing with dude getting the ball batted down. We losing with an old man who running like he on stilts. We losing, and he clearly outdoing everybody. Y'all can't hide. He got trackers, he got cameras. What are we doing? This is not college. These guys do speak up. They did it against Pickett. Pickett got ran out of Pittsburgh when he didn't want to. I think he didn't want to play or something happened, and they ran him up out of there. They ran him out of Pittsburgh. That's how he ended up in Philadelphia. I think that's before they brought in Russell Wilson. Because the guy said he got to go. His attitude ain't right. They don't play that. The practice. Yeah, they like, oh, it's going to hurt Shedeur. Hey, look, they go out there and nobody ain't throw no touchdown. That had to be the most boring practice. It's like, he benefit when he do sit out. Now, Pickett can't afford to sit out with Shedeur on the field, but Shedeur can afford to lead the other bozos out there because they going to go out there and it's going to look like a wasted practice. Like kicking cans down the street. Doggone, Dillon Gabriel had the worst day of his life. Flatto, like he ain't doing nothing good. You're not gonna beat Lamar Jackson with mediocre quarterback play. I'm sorry. You're not gonna beat these guys. You're not gonna beat Joe Burrow, been a mediocre quarterback. Joe Burrow ain't gonna come out there mediocre. He may be a future Hall of Famer. He's not gonna go out there and play mediocre. So how are you gonna beat him playing mediocre? It ain't gonna happen. So you got all these mediocre quarterbacks. He's only been with the first team. Well, his numbers definitely better than all of them. Really, I mean, numbers right there. Yes, they make that excuse. Yeah, but I mean, that's what they want to say. But then when he get up there, he still outdoing you with he did you with the 1 to 2 to the 3 to the 4. His numbers outnumbering you regardless. His numbers ain't shrinking to Dillon Gabriel level when he get up there and go against the first team defense. Did his numbers go down? He's still throwing the same. It's the same football. He find a man open, you throw it to him. It's nothing miraculous. Maybe he a little faster, maybe a little slower. If he open, I'm not going to skip it off the ground. I'm not skipping rocks. That's the difference. I'm not throwing it over his head. Me throwing it over his head ain't got nothing to do with who catching. It has to do with me throwing it. Me throwing these tight window balls in the back of the end zone, right over the man's head, that ain't got nothing to do with who I'm throwing it to other than him catching it. It has everything to do with where I threw the ball at so he can catch it. So if you're incapable of putting the ball in those spaces without constantly overthrowing a guy, skipping the ball off the ground, throwing interception, back to back to back, then that what that got to do with the threes to the fours. Only dummy says that. That has nothing to do with anything. That has all to do with your ability to put the ball to who's ever open. The dog open, hit him in the mouth. That's what they have to do with. Cleveland management is going to do. I said he's going to do it. Not let him get first rep until the last minute to throw him off. They can try to throw him off all they want. They whole franchise is thrown off already. I mean, maybe they're trying to make him fit in with them because they throwed already. I mean, yeah. I mean, okay. Since I'm on my show, they say I get on other people's shows and talk crazy. I'm talking. Don't want to win. They want to make money off their families. That's true. It's also a component, y'all. What if Cleveland is designed to lose? What if that's their role? Because everybody can't win, and we think that it's only measured out in performance. But we watch games favor certain people. Why y'all still running around talking about how Pat Mahomes, how the referees help him, and that's how he get into these championships? How? So what you saying? So you saying the refs in? You saying that it's assistants? Well, these teams not better? Maybe. I mean, maybe it is scripted enough where it allows certain players and certain teams to make it, and other teams not gonna make it. Maybe. How do you put it past it? How do you say, oh, that's wrestling, but they don't happen in football? How do you say the other sports don't have a preference? Then you blame it on Vegas or whatever. Hell, whoever you want to blame it on, who's to say that Cleveland and all this dumbass they doing is not by mistake? I will hope nobody that dumb. Who's to say that they're not doing it because that's what they're supposed to do? I can't tell you that. But I don't put it past them because nobody can be that dumb that long unless that's their role to be the loser. Some people in wrestling never win. Everybody ain't going to the Royal Rumble. Some people got to go out there and get the head slam and let doggone Hulk Hogan body slam them and flip them all up. They'll never beat Hulk Hogan because they're not designed to beat him. He is the face of the brand. They can't let him go out there and lose. He is the face. So everything is built around him. And he can go and get hit in the head with a chair. Look like he about to lose, but he ain't finna lose. That's scripted. He ain't finna lose to that no brand, plain underwear, plain drawers wearing guy. You know, everybody else got an outfit when they come out there. He just come out there with little tidy whiteys on, tidy blueies. And you say, there's no way he finna beat Hulk Hogan. He's just a contender. He's just here, just somebody he the wrestler. Like wrestling. That's how it works. Who watching Cleveland without Shedeur? Why would we watch him without Shedeur? Literally, why would we watch him without Shedeur? What do we watch? We ain't from Cleveland. Even the people from Cleveland don't want to watch it. Really? They ain't their team gonna be in the playoff. When he must have forgot about it. Let him go. Let him not go. What about Judy? Wait. Again, like I said, if the NFL colluded like we say, nobody else tried to get him. They sit back and let Cleveland play with him because he said he wasn't going to Cleveland, play with their food, and then they let Cleveland get him. Because if it was really about whatever y'all, what we think it is, somebody else would have got him. Nobody else, you gonna tell me, thought that Shedeur was the worst quarterback ever. In 5 rounds, all these teams, even who need quarterbacks, looked over him. And you come out every dumb excuse you want. Well, they don't want the attention. Man, please. It was orchestrated. So if that is the case, then who's to say that he can go somewhere else? If they all in on like that, who's to say they don't keep playing that game with him until whatever they looking for happens? I don't know what kind of stuff they want. But if they're all in on it like that, then it's a possibility that the other teams won't treat them right either. We can make it a Cleveland thing. Cleveland just dumb as a rock. Their whole history shows that. But the whole NFL for sure was involved. I don't care. We can't prove. We proved it by watching a quarterback of this caliber with all those teams digging up whatever, to find another quarterback instead of him, looking dumb as a rock. You picking quarterbacks, you absolutely have no reason to pick just to avoid Shador because you know you can't pick him. That's what happened. So these same teams, all of a sudden, we trust them to go right by Shador because they had a chance to get him. He sat all the way to the last day of the draft. He was projected to be the number one quarterback out the draft last year this time. What changed? A losing season. He went and had a horrible year. Tell me what happened. That's different from the year before where he was on a losing team. He still was projected to be the number one quarterback out for his class. And then you turn around and not in his class, number one quarterback, period, that year. And he had a better season, and he ended up going behind all the quarterbacks and some quarterbacks who weren't on the list when it was time to get drafted. What changed? Because he's dumb, he don't know his plays. What changed? He didn't know his plays. He got a bad attitude. He wore some headphones. He's how dumb he sounds. I thought about something Coach Prime said. Shador ain't walked up in there and no me wearing no headphones ahead because he know his daddy don't play that crap. He ain't walking up in there like that in his daddy meeting. He sure ain't doing that in the NFL meeting. That ain't even a habit that he have. He not coming up in there looking any kind of way because he ain't even been trained to do that. That's how you know people telling a bold-faced lie to the fool who believe it. There was some fans calling him Shador. Man, they're going to be calling him in the game too. Watch. Don't believe me, just watch. We want Shador. They're glutton for pain. That's all Cleveland is. They're glutton for pain. And like you say, if they don't really care about winning, they don't care what you say anyway. The best thing to do is the fans say, we ain't showing up. And then they'll see. Watching Cleveland without Shador is like watching paint dry. It's pointless. It doesn't matter. Shador's been consistent with his whole. Shador is what the film says it is. The films, the numbers. Cleveland can't underachieve while Shador is there with the spotlight on him. How they were. Exactly. Because, I mean, the fans ain't going to have it. We ain't going to have it. The media ain't going to have it. You just going to sit there. You going to lose with him on the bench. You can't do it. You the dumbest people ever if you do that. That's not going to fly. They worse than Washington. At least Washington has a career winning. Washington has had more successful football seasons than Cleveland ever had. You can talk about Jim Brown all day. That's the only thing you can point out. You can maybe go back to the 1400s or something and say when Cleveland was good. That's about it. You got to get that guy to go out there in them little blue underwear. With his name ain't even on his doggone behind. That's how you Hogan gonna come out there with the headband on, the cutoff shirt, the doggone shirt got his name on it, his drawers got his name on it. He dressed up. He gonna sell this stuff in the doggone accessory stand. He gonna go wrestle that dude with the blue underwear on. They come out there with some Speedos on. And that's it. You don't even know who he is. He got some blue Speedos on. And you expect him to beat Hulk Hogan. You expect them to let the blue Speedo, no-name guy, beat Hulk Hogan. Dude come out there, just run out there. No music or nothing. Matter of fact, he in the ring. He in the ring. Waiting for Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan come out there with whole theme song, sparks. You know, that on background dancer, like somebody did a video. And he got all that going on. And you think they finna let him lose to no name, no draws, Billy Huff. He just there to fill in the space. Maybe that's what Cleveland is, a space filler. Cleveland is a space filler. This computer doing what it want to do. Don't be smart. Adjusting my lighting. Cleveland is just there to fill in the space for Lamar Jackson to run all over. That's what it looked like. Let's fill in the calendar, fill in the schedule. Yeah. They got you out there. You just out there as a decoy. We know you ain't finna beat Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. We know you ain't finna beat Sting. That baby, I'm telling my that back in my day. I don't even know about that now. I don't even watch it. You know, it ain't happening because they don't want to win, man. Yeah, they said should have better than all the quarterbacks. Well, yeah, they better than Cam Ward too. I bet, huh? With all his reps, with all his reps. Because if they was gonna be the most accurate, they would have done it already. How they gonna do something they ain't did their whole college career? These dummies gonna think they gonna outperform a guy. They ain't never outperformed them. Maybe you got to hit less. But one thing you ain't never did, you ain't never threw more consistent completions than him. Your whole career. But you gonna do it in the NFL. No name guys all of a sudden better than Shador. And they say arm soreness. But what really was sore was them stats. Cause he didn't lose nothing watching them boys got that and hang themselves. Pop's name. He said he was the only one in the draft with the pop name D. I guess. That's ugly. He's spreading some light. Cleveland don't need no light. Cleveland don't need no light. You hear me? Ain't fin to either. Till they get rid of all them folk. Glad to be a new member. So Cleveland must want. See, glad to be a new one. Welcome, welcome, welcome. No Shador, no stadium. Man, forget that stadium. Cause guess what? You ain't finna fill it up. Yeah, 1400s. They were playing football and football. I don't even know what they were playing with. A rock or something, man. They still ain't won no championship. That's crazy. They don't. Let me show how bad Cleveland is. Cleveland one of them franchises. They don't gave their franchise away, started over, gave away again. And all the teams they don't gave away don't win and won somewhere else, and they still ain't won. It's like, oh, your ground's that cursed. We can give the team away, change the name, change everything. They go, go to championship. Everybody don't came. What they say? I don't seen people. They don't came, started franchises, resold them, and back again. And Cleveland still ain't won one. Hey man, man, forget that potato salad. Because I'm telling you, only reason I'm gonna be trying to watch them is to see what they doing should do. There's no way in the world. I don't care who they playing. I want to see Cleveland play with them ugly doodle brown uniforms. Think about it. When you see those, you see Cleveland. Nobody like I want to see them. That ain't what you trying to do. These uniforms ain't even pretty. You definitely ain't watching Cleveland for Cleveland. Let's be real. They ain't got no star power. They ain't got no talent power. They ain't got no flavor, man. They just some brown and orange uniform. It's from 1947. Like, hey, they together on it for sure. No name, cause they with the boy. They might be their role, man. They the guy with the blue underwear on. Cleveland is the guy with the blue underwear on. They ain't got his name on there. Well, who is that? John John Adams or something like what his name ain't even good. He got a regular name. I'm Hulk Hogan. Oh, I got a character, I got a personality, I got something I do. I come down, the music playing, and the other guy that come down now, John Marks. Nobody checking for John Marks. Nobody checking for John Marks with the blue underwear on. He won't even know his name. He ain't got no character. He ain't got no paint on his face. Nothing. Who comes to the wrestling ring with some plain blue drawers on? Blue drawers, no paint on your face, no outfit, no background dancers, no flames, No music. You can't come to win like that. You come to lose. Cleveland, you know they come to lose. You look at their outfit. I'm just gonna be real with you. They come out there with them doo-doo brown and orange outfit. They shot the same uniform they had in 1947. And you think they finna win? Everybody else don't change their uniform. They got this uniform, that uniform, salute the soldiers uniform. And Cleveland come out there with the same junk, Jim Brown, Uncle Woe. Like you're not trying to win with that. Y'all, you keep your little ugly colors, then modernize your look. That's how you know you want to lose. That's how you know you want to lose. It's unreal, y'all. They throw me the rock. There you go. They were throwing rocks. Throw me that rock. Ugh. Ugh. The football field ain't had no grass on it. It was dirt with lines on it. Like some, photos in black and white. That's the kind of crap the Cleveland on. Hey man, ain't nobody better than Hogan. What you talking about? No, you must be too young. Hogan was the man. Hey, Hogan, what are you talking about? Hogan created wrestling. I mean, if it wasn't for Hogan, you know what I'm saying? This guy talking about Hogan. I don't want you trying to come up with all of a sudden everybody got a problem with Hogan with his old modernized sensitivity. Hogan been the man his whole life. Play that with somebody. Hogan been the man. Ain't nobody had a problem with Hogan. Hogan been the man. Hogan is the face of modern wrestling. It wasn't even commercialized. That's how you know who he is. Him, Ric Flair, them got Sting. You gotta go get some people above 30 up in here. 40 and over. Show me, y'all know WCW. When it was WCW, then it later on became WWE, broke off. And I don't even know all the W's now. But doggone Dusty Rhodes, come on. Give me somebody that got some, the milk ain't on your breath. Dusty Rhodes, when you was too young to know about color. Everybody want to be dog. Look here, these dudes, what a Bigelow, Macho Man, Randy Savage, who's the guy? Ultimate Warrior. I got a story about Ultimate Warrior. But the boy doggone, the one time I was into it, I had some little toys, action figure toys. And I traded them, and I gave my Ultimate Warrior. The fool kept. I had to go to his door. The fool tried to tell me he had my toy. We traded Bigelow, Bus Bigelow, somebody. Remember, Undertaker came later. Andre the Giant, Booker T, but yeah, Ultimate Warrior was the man. Now, Ultimate Warrior was my favorite dude. Ultimate Warrior had the paint and the straps hanging down. Ultimate Warrior, baby, that was my favorite wrestler. I kind of got mad after the boy took my ass figure. We were supposed to be doing a little trading. This fool took my Ultimate Warrior. I ain't getting nobody nothing since. Yeah. But that was the days, man. WCW, TBS in Atlanta. I don't know what y'all watch. That's what we watch. And yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah. Bret Hart came later on. Bret Hart, he was good. He came later on. Junkyard Dog, they came later on. Mr. T, he was in that era, but Mr. T became more famous with the movies. The Hart brothers came later on. Yeah, Bret Hart, the Heartbreak Kids, all them folk came later. But it wouldn't been none of that without Hulk Hogan. Come on now, don't play with me. It was none of that without Hulk Hogan. I don't know no Ernie the Cat now. What kind of Ernie the Cat? Ain't no that. Yeah, Dusty, Flair, all of them was the same generation, man. All of them was the same generation. They all was the pioneers. But Hulk Hogan was the one who took off further. You can't name nobody that is more in the wrestling brand and outside of wrestling who's more known than Hulk Hogan. It wouldn't have been no The Rock and all them that came later who's doing movies and stuff. It was Hulk Hogan. Yeah, shout out Hulk Hogan. He just passed his past week. Everybody started spit on Hulk Hogan. You know, he gone like yeah, Hulk Hogan was the pioneer, man. He was the face. It was like who was the face of football? Like how Coach Prime was during his era. He wasn't. Coach Prime wasn't the first though. But Coach Hulk Hogan, wrestling was kind of underground, kind of how MMA was. Uh, these people were like wrestling was like regional, man. It wasn't like major TV deals and commercial. But then Hulk Hogan came along. Yeah, you got all these boys came along later. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, The Rock, Goldberg. All these people came later when wrestling was commercialized. It wouldn't have been commercialized if it wasn't for no doggone Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was the original. He said Mr. Perfect. You know, he was the original person that kind of like he didn't get into the movies and all that. Like these guys kind of took it to the next level, but he was one of the ones where he he made it acceptable. People who didn't even watch wrestling knew who Hulk Hogan was. Triple H came later on. Yeah, Triple H, Diamond Dallas Page, all them folks came later. Like and when I was a teenager later. I'm talking about Hulk Hogan. I didn't even realize he was Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I know him. I didn't even realize who was I didn't realize that Hulk Hogan was wrestling even that back when I was a baby. I count because I remember him. I guess he had already kind of became big when I was a younger kid. You know, my grandmama, my uncle, great uncle, used to watch wrestling and go to wrestling stuff. And so every time we went over, they would watch wrestling. I watched it a little when I was young. Maybe I was influenced by that because you didn't have 5,000 channels. Hello, all the people back then. You only had about 46, 36, and in Atlanta we had 46, 36, 2 and 5 and 11. You know, you only had about 6 channels on that TV. And then that thing break off. You gotta go get them pliers. See, y'all had it too well. Y'all probably had to get that knob come off. You gotta get them pliers and It wasn't no remote control. It wasn't no flat screen. That's what we used to watch with the antennas on there. Who remember that? Come on, I know I ain't got a bunch of young folks up in here. Yeah. Yeah, these boys, man. Yeah, Hogan, if it weren't for that commercializing, doing commercials and doing all the branding behind behind Hulk Hogan, wrestling wouldn't have been what it is today. So I brought that all up to say, you know, when you see that guy come in the ring with them dirty blue drawers on and them high what do they call them boots, and he coming out of wrestle Hulk Hogan, you know he ain't finna win. He can't beat Hulk Hogan. He can't beat Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that Turner Network, man. That TBS, man. Turner was it Turner Broadcasting System. If you ain't watching that wrestling, man. 12 a.m. 12 a.m. Boom. Go your butt to sleep. You ain't up. Then the infomercials came in. But you didn't have all them channels. So we had to watch wrestling. We watched that TV shows like Family Matters and Cosby. You know, they had TV series back then. So we watched the wrestling because that was one of the shows. You go get your TV guide and know what's coming on in a little TV guide book. I ain't that young now. I ain't that old, but I ain't that young. The TV too, with a big old back on it. You got to hug the TV to carry it. Put the flat part against your stomach and then put your arm around the back. Big back TV. That's what we had. So we wrestling was a main TV source. You didn't have a lot of stuff you could watch. It was gonna be on TBS. It was gonna be on there, and you watched it. And it was one TV too. You know, you might have one in your room later on, but you're gonna watch that TV where everybody else watching the same thing. There ain't no tablets. You can't go off. You watching what they watch. So I had to watch the wrestling, man. It ain't one of widow dinners because them folks ain't play that. Yeah, you got if your jump don't go all the way around, you might miss a couple channels. Just Clint, put them pliers on there. That's the era Hulk Hogan come from, man. So nobody knew Hulk Hogan like that. I know some stuff came out and he cleared that up, and the dude he cleared up with, but you got more problem with it than they got. The dude who they say some racial something. Hulk Hogan already dealt with that with the man a long time ago. The man ain't beefing with him. Why you beefing with him? Hulk Hogan was a good dude. I used to see him rally show, and good dude. Like raggedy dudes. Like we know these raggedy Cleveland people. We know raggedy from good. You ain't gotta be perfect. We know people make mistakes, and we know people take crap out of context. But Hulk Hogan was a good dude. I'm gonna tell you that. I don't know him personally, but I know raggedy folk from good folk. So the main people probably talking about him probably raggedy. I wouldn't deal with them. So you can tell you, Hulk Hogan, man, he wasn't teaching your kids to do nothing crazy. He wasn't giving no messages out. He said, eat your vegetables. He never used his celebrity to mess up your kids. But you love the people who do. You love the people who try to tell you do some crazy crap on your kids. You don't try to destroy their credibility. People who selling you down the creek, the hell or jail or something. You good with them. Hulk Hogan ain't never used his celebrity to push no crazy crap. That's not the generation he come from. So shout out to Hulk Hogan. I ain't even know I was going there today. But more of the story is Cleveland is the one. I ain't gonna say blue draw. If Cleveland come they behinds out there with them little dusty doodle brown draws or orange draws, and they go up against Lamar Jackson, he come out there with the theme music with the cape on and paint going out there in their face, you finna get whooped. I'm letting you know. And how do you do that? By coming out there with them plain Jane quarterbacks. Now you got a defense. So what you got a defense. You ain't got no excuse. You got a defense. It ain't like you ain't got a defense. All your silly behinds have to do is build around a good quarterback, and you got one out throwing everybody there. Be dumb if you want to, Cleveland, and go put them dusty quarterbacks up in there against Lamar Jackson, against doggone Joe Burrow, and all these other quarterbacks they got to go against, and see what happens. It's gonna be a tragedy, and we ain't got to deal with it because we still got to see what's going on in Jacksonville. We still got to see what Charlotte gonna do down there in Tampa. We still got to do some watch Jimmy. See, we gonna get to see Jimmy. I'm in Atlanta. We gonna get to see Jimmy twice a year and Charlotte twice a year. LeJohntay. I think they got to play LeJohntay. Baltimore, and they got to play LeJohntay. LeJohntay ain't gonna be dealing with that. So shout out to y'all. Look at him. I had to order me a new box. I know a couple people reached out to me about a box. Now they shut down. I mentioned that before with the Tangler. They shut it down. They had some stuff going on. They had to take stuff off the server. The big boys came out though for whatever. I don't know all the detail. They shut down the operation. So I mean I can't tell y'all to get something. They ain't available. So but I found a new box. I tell people about it. I have no marketing, no anything with them whatsoever. Um, but it's another box. I just ordered one today. I'll let y'all know how it go. I know some people reached out to me, asked me because y'all gonna need a box one way or another. Because it's still the same situation of local games. I ain't got no control over it in any form. I didn't ship the other one. I just marketed, let people know about it. They gave me a little referral, whatever. But I don't have that set up with this new one as of now. I don't plan on that. I'm just busy. But I'll let y'all know I'm gonna have me a box, and they got a little special. I just got one for less than the Tangler was going for, honestly. So y'all might want to jump on that. I got a little link. I don't get that from. I need to. I hate referring stuff. I don't get no kind of credit for, but as of now, I don't have it. But I'll let y'all know about it because these games about to crank up. Really, this Friday, Cleveland play this Friday. You're gonna want to see what's going on with the let me see. I might do y'all a favor. Let me see. Cause I just ordered mine today, And somebody else, people using all these different names out here in these streets. They the one who told me about it. I don't know. They reached out to me in Discord. So let me see. Reached out to me and asked me about the box and told me about this new box. And it actually ended up being a little less than what I had it for because they running a $70 off. So that's why it's less. But it will usually be about $50. Actually, y'all was supposed to pay $350, but I gave a discount on it. But so like I said, they running about the same. And I had a little discount code, whatever. And this new box, I'm trying to get y'all the link because I just sent it to somebody recently. I just sent the link out. Y'all do this. Let's make it worthwhile. Everybody, go ahead and join the Discord. I'm gonna put it in there because I gotta find the link. This one here is actually VC. VC. Y'all probably heard of it, probably not. VC. This box to you. Yeah. VC. I don't have no social media with it, but I don't know. I really can't tell you how that's gonna go because these things can go on and off the server, and that's what can happen. So I can't really tell you how that's gonna go. But that's an option, and it's basically it got a whole bunch of them in one. It's about 10 tanglers in one. So it is what it is. It ain't something you gotta have. It ain't something you gotta have, but it's definitely when you need to be able to watch those different games, keep up with stuff is helpful. So this is what I'm gonna do. If y'all haven't joined the Discord yet, go in the Discord, and then I'll be able to drop it in there. I got to be able to find it. Let me see. Y'all know the Discord, right? Let me see if I got my Discord in here. I'm gonna put this Discord right here. Make sure y'all join the Discord. And we did a lot with the Discord during the season. Do y'all see that? Y'all see that Discord? I don't know why it's showing like that. That Discord, it should be crawling. But y'all can get the information there. I'll probably put it in there because let me put it as a crawler. Yeah. Because a few live streams ago. Yeah, a couple people mentioned, but somebody mentioned to me a while back. They ordered one. They sent me stuff inside the chat box. I mean, they mentioned to me in Discord about a month ago, and I didn't have one, and they update me on it. They update me on the how it's working. It looks really, really clear. It's really, really fast. And I'm gonna be real with you. It has more. So I remember y'all used to ask me about did the Tangler have live where you can record. They have that feature in there where you can record the stuff because they got like at least 10 apps in there. And let's say one that's very similar to Tangler, it must be a platform they use. One is one app out of like 10. So it got a Tangler inside a bunch of other stuff. They got the same features and stuff, but it's different apps. One thing I like about the Tangler that it was really one app to the backup. This one here got like 10 apps. They all are very identical, but they all do something a little different. I can't really explain it, but what I will do, I will drop the video that they sent me into the Discord, and then you can see the video I saw where the guy breaks down all the things. He's like a long video where he explained all the different apps and what they look like and what they do. And then I'll drop y'all. I talked to them and they sent me a coupon code. And like I said, I don't get nothing from it, but it's just I'll let y'all know about it. And it was like $70 off. And that's they give me $7 off, then I'll go ahead and get it. I didn't know how much it cost, but yeah, it took it to about $269, something like that. I'm gonna put it in a Discord. So y'all go ahead and I'm gonna go find it and I'm gonna drop it in the Discord. They sent me a coupon. You know how they send you emails promotion, and I ordered one, man. I did. I didn't know how long it would take me to get it, or how long this special was running because they didn't have no date. But they took $70 off, and I was like, well, shoot, that's. I wasn't planning on getting it right now, but I needed to get it because the game's coming up. So I went on and did it. I went on and did it. You know, I don't get them for free. I would love to get one for free. I went on and did it. You know, it's a risk when you get stuff on streaming because it's online. It's like the world we're going to where everything be online, can come on and go off, come on and go off. But like I said, over time it paid for itself. So that's just the gamble you take. You know, but it's good for right now. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's good for right now. Where I see it, you pay. Some people paying $300 a month for cable. So yeah. So I'm gonna create a Discord. I might drop. Let me see. I'm finna see in Discord right now. Cause I have different little folders in Discord. Some of y'all are already in there, and I'll just drop it up on the Tangler one. It's a Tangler one in there. I'll just drop it up under there instead of creating a new one. It's a y'all don't have the Discord app downloaded. Find Greg Said It, which is that link right there. I have a box that says Tangler box. It says some Tangler box orders. I'm gonna drop it up under there. I'm gonna do y'all something solid. I'm gonna drop it up under there. So y'all go ahead and jump in there. I'm gonna go ahead and close out live. This is what is good about live. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll see some of y'all in Discord, and should be doing inspiration motivation later on. But y'all have a good one.